Welcome to the next Code With Me video for Chapter 7. This video will actually be fairly short because we're only covering one activity. That's activity 713. The first thing we're doing is we're actually going to be using the same files as we had before, the index.html for the game arena, and we're going to be modifying the items with span tags. So, first thing is, we're going to click to the right of the opening body tag at the very top. Hey, look at that. Tap enter and then add div. Why are we doing that? Well, we'll see in just a minute. Since we're opening up a div tag, I want to make sure all the information below it is actually going to be tabbed over. You can do this before or after. I just like to do it before, that way I know what I'm working with. Now the area that we're going to be closing the div tag is actually the very last line before the closing of the body. So go all the way down here, body tag, close your div. And everything else, make sure we got tabbed over. And that div should be tabbed over one. There we go. So that way it should be one tab over, lines up perfectly with the div. Good. So, save. Whoa, not what I wanted. Save. Refresh. And again, visually, no difference. Next, we'll be working with, tabbed it over, the first H2. If you recall from the lecture video, I wrapped the phrase AB Tech inside of a span tag because I wanted to modify the actual phrase AB Tech. In this case, we're doing the exact same thing, but with the game arena. So under the first H2, you'll see the phrase the game arena. Let's wrap that in a span tag. Don't forget, span tags are in line, so we can use them inside of other elements such as P tags. Easy, right? Okay. Now this next part may be a little confusing, only because we haven't actually covered CSS yet. So, I'll try to go as slow as possible, so please just follow along and type exactly what you see going on. I'll explain all this once we get into CSS a bit later, but right now, just go ahead and follow along with what I'm doing, and you'll see why we're using span tags in just a bit. We're going to go up here in the head section, and right before the closing head section, we're going to be adding a style tag. Again, this may not make sense right now, but just work with me and you'll see exactly why this information is going to be provided. This is what's known as an embedded style sheet. Before I move on, let me break down exactly what just happened. The embedded style sheet is providing styling for the body. We're providing a background color of hashtag or #FCC, and if you take a look, you can see that's kind of off yellow, and the margin is being removed or set to 0. We save this, we refresh, and now we have some basic embedded CSS. Without going into too much detail with the rest, just follow along and see what the rest will actually do. Okay, hopefully you followed along with me in typing in that CSS. Again, if you don't know exactly what it does, don't worry about it in too much detail. We'll be covering this in a later chapter. But go ahead and save, file save, go back to your browser and refresh. Pay very close attention to the game arena because that may be the most important thing changing overall. Hey, look at that. We've added a border, we've added a sizing width, and the game arena, the span, now has a pre-built-in style that we actually coded. Again, if you didn't understand the CSS, don't worry too much. Whoop, there we go. Don't worry too much, we'll actually be covering that later in a later chapter. But right now I wanted you to see what the span tag can do without having to go into too much detail. Otherwise, the span tag doesn't really show you anything. If you have any questions, chances are you will, about the CSS, please send me an email. I'll try to explain the best way possible to make sure you can understand the concepts without going into too much detail, because we are going to cover that. Additionally, if you have any other questions, hit me up on Twitter, and I'll answer pretty much any question I get.